So my trip out of Niagara Falls was a pleasant one. This was a early morning Saturday morning trip, which was between 9:30 a.m. arriving in Toronto at 11:30 a.m. Now I do this route all the time, and I could definitely say that this particular trip was one of the better trips that I've had. If you notice although it is Megabus, you do see a Coach Canada bus, but Megabus does operate these ones. So when your bus arrives, they will announce inside which platform it's on, and they'll say that it's Megabus. So um, whenever you whenever your time comes and you hear them announce it, just go out. It will be the Megabus. Sometimes you'll get the occasional, mostly in the summer, you'll get the blue Megabus, the double decker. But when it's not so busy, you will get a lot of the Coach Canada buses coming through, and as I said, they'll just announce it, so that way you'll know for sure that it's your Megabus. This particular trip, I wouldn't say it was packed, but what made this particular trip good was that the Wi-Fi was working, which is always nice and convenient. Sometimes it isn't, but this particular trip it was. Plus, the Coach Canada bus was a very comfy bus, and the seat I had, if you notice, the one row was pushed up in front of me, so I had a whole bunch of leg room, and the row that I did choose, which was very nice as well. The ride going down to Toronto on this particular morning was an express. Now, normally the bus stops in St. Catharines for a few minutes to pick up passengers, and then briefly in Grimsby. But this one was particularly quick because it was express to Toronto. It didn't stop at all. It just went straight through and dropped passengers who wanted to get off at the Royal York Hotel by Union briefly, and just went straight to the Toronto terminal, which was very nice because it doesn't always go express, which adds a bit of time. So this was 2 hours scheduled for just like under 2 hours. So it was a pretty good trip. Seats were comfortable. I had lots of leg room. As I said, the bus wasn't completely packed. This particular trip was at the beginning of May. And depending, your trip could be packed once it starts. If you don't have an express and it starts getting into St. Catharines, you'll probably be picking up passengers there as well. So the bus usually gets quite full. In the summertime, you most likely just be stopping at St. Catharines and Grimsby briefly, but it was nice. I had an express bus, like I said, so the trip was quite pleasant. And I did pay for this particular trip. I paid $25.99, and that's because I booked the day before. With Megabus, obviously, the earlier you book it, the cheaper you get it. But although there is the option there for the Go bus as well, which is 19 including tax. That takes longer, so it will take at least 2.5 hours for the Go bus. So the Mega bus is always the quicker route, and sometimes, and also they have a bathroom on board, which is helpful a lot, especially if you're an older traveler. It helps to have the bathroom, so that is quite good with the Mega bus. So I don't mind paying a little bit extra over the price of the Go bus to have the bathroom and the Wi-Fi and the shorter trip. So overall, I would say this was definitely a good trip. We got into Toronto on time. We made the brief stop to at the Royal York to let people off. And if you're catching a GO train, I would get off at that particular stop. It's just a courtesy stop, so you can't put luggage underneath if you want to get off at the Royal York Hotel. You'll have to wait till it comes into the Toronto bus terminal. But this was one of my better trips on the Megabus, I would say, and I enjoyed this particular trip, so I would recommend it. I mean, you do also in the summer have the choice of the train, definitely on the weekends and stuff, which gives you some more room. But I would say the Mega